Hello again, everybody, and again, welcome to the cammsstrategy launch webinar, and thank you very much for joining us. There is still a few people coming in, but I know we're a few minutes past the hour, so with time against us, I think we'll start now. So just before we kick off, I did just want to draw attention again to that chat panel on your screen. So if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, please put them in there, and we've got a dedicated Q&A section at the end, and we'll address them at that point. So I hope you're all as excited as I am, because it's a very big launch for us. cammsstrategy is one of the more significant product releases we've done in the last few years, and so yeah, we think it's a great release, and we're looking forward to telling you about it. So for those of you that don't already know, my name is Lachlan. I'm Cam's Marketing Communications Manager, and I'm also joined by our Senior Product Manager, Chaturanga.
Hi, everyone.
So we'll be taking you through this session today. And again, type in your questions, and we'll address them at the end as best we can. So as I said, this is one of the more significant product launches that CAMS has done, and certainly the most significant in the last few years. It's obviously CAMS' new platform for strategic planning and performance management, and it will replace interplan and our strategic component in Cycle, as well as global collaboration. So we'll be upgrading from those products. What we're delivering through cammsstrategy is a highly engaging, intuitive solution that empowers people throughout an organisation to measure, monitor, and act on your organisational strategy. So from the executive right through to the operations team. And the idea is that by aligning people and processes, far outside the traditional confines of the finance department, where conversations around strategic planning often start, cammsstrategy is designed to drive a high-performance culture and further our mission to make your strategic goals a reality. So I'm just going to throw over to Chat for a moment, and he's going to quickly talk about our beta program.
Thanks, Lachlan. So as some of you may know, we launched our beta program about 1 month back. So thanks a lot for the support that all of you have provided during that period. We had quite a number of clients who signed up and assisted throughout that program, so we had strong participation rates, and we have received some great feedback from all of the clients involved, which has actually helped make this product and this release the best it can be. You can see some comments on screen there from Greg Seacombe over at Mind Advisory Group in the UK, which sort of encapsulates the overall sentiment that we have heard from the clients during that beta program. As always, we are always open to suggestions or any other improvement ideas. If you do have any feedback, feel free to send them through to this email address you see on screen, cammsstrategy@cammsgroup.com. Now I'll pass back to Lachlan to walk us through the rest of the items.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Chat. So I won't take too long on this, but I think it's pretty important. We're very proud of it, and really important for anyone who's a CAMS customer or is thinking about becoming one. So as many of you would have seen with our recent announcement the other week, we debuted on Gartner's 2017 Magic Quadrant for Cloud Strategic Corporate Performance Management Solutions. And so it's something we're very proud of, and something that's a very important development and step in our evolution, and something that we think we can all be proud of, and is great for you, our clients. And so basically the report is widely viewed as the foremost annual analysis of the global corporate performance management market. And it's based on product capability, but also user interaction with the product and feedback as well. So I guess that's a big thank you for continued support over the years. You can see the results sort of slide here in front of you. So why does this really matter, and why is it a really positive news for you if you're a current or potential future CAMS client? And as we said, it's the most read and regarded report on CPM, and CAMS is one of only 13 solutions worldwide that has made the cut. So look, essentially, that you're partnering with a world-class software provider for your strategic planning and performance management needs, and obviously that ties into the great new features you're going to see in cammsstrategy as well. So the other thing that's really worth mentioning there is that CAMS is in fact the only Asia Pacific based company in this report at all that managed to make the cut. So again, something we're proud of. We really appreciate the support, and we hope that indicates to you that you really are working with some of the best product technology around, especially from this part of the world. So the report identifies some functionality, capabilities, and ease of use as the two top product attributes driving purchase behaviour for strategic CPM solutions, and these are the same areas that the CAMs actually perform particularly well in. If we go to the next slide, you'll see that that's talking about basically the prevalence of a cloud-based delivery for these types of solutions. And sort of, we've really embraced the cloud to deliver highly accessible performance management software at scale from the start. And it's this mode of deployment, due to its ease of use, its scalability, low total cost of ownership, and increased flexibility that, Gartner sees as the way of the future. So, basically, if you're using CAMS, you know that our software system is future-proof, where we understand where the market is heading, and so we're really making a big effort to meet your software needs today and into the future, and Gartner is now sort of expressing that same sentiment. So we're definitely leading the pack in that regard, and you can be sure that, as I said, your future needs for this type of software are definitely being thought about. The last slide on this that I just want to quickly mention is maybe the most important, and what it really says is that it talks about our holistic approach to strategic planning and performance management. So I guess CAMS has always approached the market with the belief that strategic planning and performance management software has a vital role to play across an organisation and its decision-making processes, so far beyond the confines of the finance department, where these conversations can often begin. And I guess both Gartner and the CPM market are now adopting that same perspective too. And you can see that Gartner sort of said in the report that CAM's approach to the integrated performance management market, goes beyond that of most other profile vendors. And I think that's the important part here, our breadth of capabilities and integrations with other solutions and features that take an organisation wide, not just a finance only, view of strategic planning and performance management, mean that we can uniquely sort of meet your specific requirements. And again, some of these great features play into some of this great feedback that you're about to see. So look, that's enough for me, but I think it's really important context that sets up the importance of this release. But now we obviously want to sort of take you through it and show some of the major components that are within cammsstrategy. So the first major sort of part you'll notice if you've had a chance to have your hands on cammsstrategy, and if not, we'll show you shortly, is the user interface overhaul. So it's new, and the new fresh interface delivers a really immersive user experience. And the idea is that we want to help you engage everyone in your organisation with an intuitive solution that really enables you to understand and act on your goals and strategies. And of course, it's consistent with our overhaul project management and risk management solutions that we've brought out recently as well. Some of the significant user interface components to quickly highlight before I throw over to chat include the new quick navigation options. So you can see that panel there on the left-hand side. So basically that lets you get more done with fewer clicks. So, from adding new actions to new KPIs and viewing dashboards. Next, we've got the new, mega menu. So basically this is just allowing you to really find what you need fast. So you can really quickly and easily go from personal performance information in your workspace to frameworks, planning, custom hierarchies, reports, tools, and, administration very, very quickly. These next two enhancements, if you're new to the product, they won't seem like much, but if, like a lot of you on the call, you've been with us for a little while, I think you'll be pleased to see they're in there. So we've got some improvements to the custom hierarchy and how that functions, and basically that makes it far faster and easier to view and define custom hierarchies, like you might not have been able to do before. So I won't talk too much more about that. I'll let chat show you instead, because I think it's in the scene where you really get the idea about why it's useful. And look, lastly is we now have a password reset page. So sometimes it's the small things that make a big difference. So you can now easily reset your password. So it's located on your cammsstrategy login screen, and basically a new link sends you the password reset page where you can easily update your credentials. So we think that's going to be, it's a minor change, but it's really going to improve the usability of the product and mean you can get on doing what you need to do faster and easier, basically. So that's enough out of me. I'm going to throw across the chat to show you some of this in action.
Thanks, Lachlan. So let's jump into cammsstrategy and take a quick look at the product. So before I log in, I'll just highlight the last feature that Lachlan just showed you, which is the forgotten password. So if you are using cammsstrategy with a normal username and password and not using a single sign-on, your users will now be able to use this forgotten password link to actually reset their passwords. They can enter the organization name and thereafter enter the email or the username to request a password reset link. As long as their profiles have a valid email address, they should receive an email on how to reset their password. Right, so let's log in to the cammsstrategy solution. So the first page which loads by default is the quick update page, and we'll touch upon that a little bit later. First, I would like to draw your attention to the left-hand side here, which is the new quick navigation menu that Lachlan highlighted. So just to help draw some parallels between the earlier interplan version and this version for those existing clients who are transitioning from interplan, what we have done, if I load up our previous interplan version, so this was the previous home page. You had a few quick access tiles on the top here, and you had the main navigation menus on the top. So the problem was if you do navigate away into any of the other pages, you would lose sight of these quick navigation tiles, and you need to either use the menu options or navigate back to the home page in order to be able to see them. So what we have done is essentially moved all of these tiles to that permanent left-hand navigation menu so that it's always available for you to access. And we have also added in a few other areas which we have found that clients will be using quite frequently. So basically 80 to 90% of the time on day-to-day usage, we would expect you to be able to access what you require from this left-hand navigation menu. So I'll quickly run through each of the items that you have here. So up top, you have the ability to add new actions and new KPIs. This will still work together with the current security restrictions. So if you have operational users who can't create new actions or new KPIs, they won't be able to access this functionality. But for those who have access, that's available there. Thereafter, you have your quick update section, which we'll touch upon a little later in this webinar. Thereafter, we have a quick search option. So this quick search area used to be tucked inside the main menu in the interplan version. We have sort of brought it out to be a front and center because we have had feedback from clients that it's something they use quite frequently when they want to when you want to find an action or a KPI very quickly. That can be quite useful. So that's brought into that left-hand navigation menu. Then you have a couple of items grouped under this menu icon, essentially my settings, my reports, and a new my workspace, and a link to access the executive portal as well. Thereafter, that's a link to access the dashboards within cammsstrategy. So you have your EIS, which is the Executive Intelligence System, and a strategy map, which is new, and we'll touch upon later as well. We also have the navigation pad to help you have an overall view of your community strategic plan and access to reports as well. So that's what's on the left-hand navigation menu. And everything else, which used to be in the main menus, have been tucked into this mega menu. So that one click gives you access to all of that, all of those sections, and you can expand on these areas to access those sub-menus. I'll just quickly touch upon custom hierarchies as well, because there has been a few changes in that area, mainly in terms of UI and the ease of use to select in creating custom hierarchies, essentially, because there used to be a few usability issues in that particular area. So that's what we have tried to incorporate within this release, essentially trying to make that a little more user-friendly to address that particular area. So if you can see this, we have enlarged the hierarchy area so that there's more space for the actual custom hierarchy that you're building. If it does reach that limit, it will still wrap around, so you don't need to do horizontal scrolling as much as you used to. And when you're creating your hierarchies, you can easily simply create it and save it here. and it will remain at the place where you added the hierarchy rather than refreshing and collapsing this hierarchy. So a couple of minor usability items in that regard. But since hierarchies is quite a powerful tool when you want to enter your different governance structures and different ways to look at your strategic plan, we figured this would be quite a useful area. Back to you, Lachlan, to walk us through the next few features.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, chat. So the next section that I want to talk about is the revamped quick update area. So basically, this allows you to, access all the information you need to do your job and manage your performance in one place. So from monitoring and updating actions, tasks, and activities to KPIs, risks, projects, and more. And so, basically, it's going to allow you to stay on top and on track with the, with this revamped My Quick Update page in cammsstrategy. One of the next areas that I want to highlight is the new discussion forum. So, really, we're hoping that this will mean you can sort of forget long, slow email threads that lose their focus and really sort of don't achieve anything. And the idea behind this is to really introduce a new element of collaboration within the application. So the idea is you'll now be able to collaborate, alongside your data, strategic plan, personal and team responsibilities all in one place, and sort of create a single source of truth to ensure that your top priorities are really always front of mind. And you're going to be able to, you can access the discussion forum through the chat panel pop-up via quick updates, the executive intelligence system actions, KPI details, and scorecard sections within cammsstrategy as well. So you can really easily access that from multiple points, again, to really make sure we've baked in that sort of collaborative theme throughout the application. And before I throw back to chat, the last section I want to highlight here is the My Workspace area, which replaces the My Performance page in cammsstrategy. So basically, cammstrategy's My Workspace, it ensures you can measure, monitor, and act on your responsibilities with ease. So you can effortlessly add, reporting widgets to the new My Key Indicators and My Key Actions tabs to track progress towards targets and deadlines. So with that, I'll throw back over to chat.
Thanks, Lachlan. So let's take a look at those features within the product itself. First up is the quick update, so I can access that from the left-hand navigation menu here. So a couple of changes that's taken place within the quick update area, essentially. First is that we have changed the overall layout. So it used to be, if I draw back on the previous version, it used to show the sections vertically downward, but it is limited to showing those 5 at a time. So you can actually only see 5 items in a given section, and you have to expand to see more. In cammsstrategy, what we have done is we have divided into sections up top, so you can see how many items you're responsible under each section. And if you have our other modules, you'll be able to see how many risks and risk actions and etc. that you are responsible for as well. So by default, if you are looking at this page, I have 6 actions that I'm responsible for. I can see those 6 actions based on this tiled approach being shown here. And I can easily do my updates. So if I click on it, it will expand out the text area, so you can enter those large comments. I can change the percentage completion by dragging and changing the percentage complete progress bar. And you'll notice when I change it, the color automatically changes. So we have removed the traffic light from this particular area, and instead the performance is now shown from that progress bar itself. You can also sort of expand out if you want to see the detailed quick update plus the executive updates area. You can click on that arrow next to the action title to see that quick update and the executive update sections within those particular areas. I'll quickly show you tasks and KPIs as well. So the task and KPI update sections should be largely similar in format to what it was in interplan. But like I mentioned before, you can now see more at once, so you can do more for your updates in one go. And like the early one, you can change the percentage complete from here, as well as enter progress comments directly within the grid itself. Same sort of approach in KPIs as well. So you can see update your actual figures, and then update progress comments for each of those items as well. Before we move away from this area, I'll also touch upon the discussion forums that Lachlan mentioned. So you see for each of these items, and even in tasks and KPIs, you'll be able to see a new icon called the discussion forum icon. If you click on that, it will give you access to the discussion forum for that particular item. And what this allows you to do is essentially have discussions with other staff, other members of your organization about this particular item. This is not confidential, so anyone who has access to this particular action in this example will be able to access this discussion forum. So the purpose behind it is for in order to capture certain conversations about progress, if things have changed, why it has changed, and having that sort of central source of truth to record the history around what has actually happened for this particular item. If you want to send a message to someone, you can select who you want to send it to. So you have a contact list here, so you can select from any of the staff members, or if you want to send it to a group of people at once, you can either create a personal group, so you can create your own group and send it to that group, or you can, as an administrator, you can create a group for your organization, so maybe based on particular teams and things like that, so that people can directly use those administrative groups as well to message people in bulk. So when you enter a comment and notify those people, when they log in next time into cammsstrategy, they'll be able to see that with the icon here against their name, with the alert section showing any new messages that they have. All right, so that's on the quick update and discussion forums. I'll touch on next on the My Workspace area, which is accessed from this menu icon on the left-hand side. So My Workspace area replaces what used to be the My Performance section. You can still see your My Performance in the first tab of this area, so you can still see your actions and your KPIs, and overall drill down and see how they are progressing. But what's essentially new in this section is these two tabs. So My Key Indicators is essentially your personal dashboard for KPIs. So you can add any KPI in your organization which you want to regularly monitor and keep track of. For example, if you're a director or a manager, it can be key performance measures which are relevant to that department or directorate. You can add the KPIs that you require from the widget icon on the top right-hand side, where you will see all of the KPIs being listed here. And any KPI you require, you can simply drag and drop that to the right-hand side, and that will add it to the dashboard. So apart from that, we also have the same concept in the next tab, which is My Key Actions. So again, you can add from the widget icon, you can add the actions or projects that you want to monitor from your strategic plan. The difference here is that apart from this standard grid view, we also have introduced a new view here called the Kanban board, which is the option that you have here. So if I click on the Kanban view, that gives a much more visual representation of where those actions are at. So you can see what's not started, what's in progress, what's completed, and so on. And this view is being sort of rolled out into other areas of the system as well. So you'll be able to see it in the EIS. And by the live release in a few weeks, you'll be able to see that in the quick update area as well. So when you have it in the quick update, you'll be able to even do your updates from the screen itself. So you will be able to, for example, drag something which is in progress and just put it into a completed bucket to move that to 100%. But you'll always be able to click on this icon to view details and enter more progress comments and any percentage complete and tasks if you want to view tasks against this particular action. So that's an overview of My Workspace. Back to you, Lachlan, to walk us through the next few features.
Thanks very much, Chat. So the next area that we're just going to touch on is the overhauled executive intelligence system. So basically, the refreshed EIS area in cammsstrategy delivers an intuitive management overview of critical information that's related to a particular business unit. So from actions and KPIs to budgets, scorecards, and risks. Within that, there's sort of 3 or so particular areas, features that I want to sort of highlight. I guess the first is the last updated column. So you can now easily understand when actions and KPIs were last modified with the introduction of this last updated column to the action and KPI tabs. So you can even group actions and KPIs by last updated to help you really understand and organise business unit priorities. The other would be performance alerts, and so nothing has changed here except it's moved to a pop-up. I guess for anyone unfamiliar, this allows you to view actions and KPIs that fall outside predefined benchmarks, so enabling you to quickly take the necessary steps to get things back on track. And the last of which, before I sort of throw back to chat, around sub-KPIs. So you can now view sub-KPIs for the very first time under the KPIs tab in the Executive Intelligence System. So we think this is a really good enhancement in cammsstrategy. So you can now quickly and easily see the specific components that combine to produce your high-level benchmarks. And so with that, I'm going to throw back to Chad again so we can walk you through these updates.
Thanks, Lachlan. So let's have a look at the updated EIS area. That can be accessed from the left-hand navigation menu, again from this dashboard icon. And the first option there is the EIS area. So for those of you familiar with this section, it allows you to have an overall view of the performance across the organization. You can have it based on department, based on your organization structure, or based on your planning hierarchy as well, or any other custom hierarchies or governance structures that you may have. So a couple of areas updated from here. You can see the UI has slightly changed from the earlier EIS. There has been some UI updates in the hierarchy navigation as well, again, to make it a lot more user-friendly when navigating across large chunks of items. So you can see it's wrapping and be able to access all of those areas without those troublesome sort of horizontal scrolling. And if I go into the actions area, you can see that last updated column that Lachlan mentioned about. So this is again based on feedback we have had from clients in this particular area, given that it shows performance and the progress, but sometimes when you're looking at that area, you don't know if something is off track simply because someone didn't update it when they were supposed to, or whether it's actually off track. So having that last updated column sort of helps validate that information you're seeing, whether it's up to date or whether that person has not yet updated their progress as they should have. The same change has been carried over to the KPI section, so you can still see last updated column added there. But the most significant change here is that if you have a calculated KPI, you can now drill down on that to view any sub-KPIs that constitute that calculated KPI. You can see the formula by how it was derived, and you can see the sub-KPIs configured for it as well. So you can see how they are performing and how the parent calculated KPI is performing. So earlier you used to have to actually click on this and go into the KPI details area to see this information. So now we have sort of brought it out into the EIS area itself to make that easier to navigate into. All right, back to you, Lachlan, to walk us through the strategy map.
Awesome, thank you very much, Chad. So as Chad just said, the next major update area is the new strategy map page, which is a really significant update in this product. So basically, it's providing that one intuitive overview so you can easily monitor progress towards goals and outcomes in one place, and know how you're tracking towards the actions and KPIs that matter most to you at a glance, basically. So within that, there's a few things that I want to highlight, one of which is the strategy map filters. So this enables you to quickly determine which components of the goal are on or off target, so to speak. So you can really easily drill down any hierarchy of your strategic plan, and you can filter to see actions and KPI performance data by a range of variants, including hierarchy type, responsible officer, service profile, organizational unit, budget type, and date range as well. The next is the detailed view pop-up. So basically this allows you to instantly understand performances at a glance for any goal, outcome, or strategy, and access the detail behind high-level numbers with KPIs, actions, and performance summary tabs as well. Next, there's the performance status icons. And personally, these are my favorite thing in this whole release. I love these. They're a really visual, very quick, intuitive way to get, great instant insight on the health of your strategic goals. So they're basically, color-coded performance status icons to indicate whether the average performance or the total number of actions and KPIs linked to a particular goal or outcome are on track, off track, or in a monitoring phase. And just before I hand back to chat again, there's also the renewed navigation pad. So that navigation pad in cammsstrategy delivers a seamless sort of Kanban board style overview of your whole organization. So from goals, outcomes, and strategies to actions and tasks. And basically, consistent with cammstrategy's new intuitive user interface, the revamped navigation pad also displays the color-coded performance statuses for any elements, including green for on track, the red you can see there for off track, and orange for monitoring as well. But I'll pass back to chat so he can show you all this in action.
Thanks, Lachlan. So let's jump back into the product and have a look at those areas. First up is strategy map. So that can be accessed from the dashboard icon on the left-hand navigation and from the strategy map option just on the EIS there. So the strategy map essentially allows you to have an overall view, performance view of your strategic plan. So you can see your overall goals for the organization, and thereafter you can actually drill down to see the outcomes underneath each of those goals, and then view any strategies underneath those outcomes, and then have them drill down into actions, tasks, and subtasks where relevant. So it will automatically display this sort of visual view of your strategic plan. Just to note that in terms of some of these terminologies like goals and outcomes, these may be customized for you in your particular environment, and those will continue to reflect as it is currently. So if you call your goals and outcomes by a different terminology, that will reflect the same within your strategy map as well. So if you have multiple goals or outcomes, you can easily click and drag to see those items, or if not, you can use these menu options to scroll through as well. So I have a goal here with several outcomes. I can see outcome number 8 is off track. So if I click on that outcome number 8, I can see I have one strategy underneath it, and I have one action to implement the customer response management system, which is currently off track, and that's what's sort of driving that outcome to be off track. So you can actually use this tool to drill down on those particular areas where a goal or a high-level outcome is not being achieved, and try to find where that issue is actually occurring and take action on a specific action or task that's going off track. You can also get a high-level view of all the items linked to an element through this view detail option. So if I click on the view detail for goal 1, I should be able to see all the actions and KPIs relevant to that particular goal. So as Lachlan mentioned, yes, you have an overview or a performance at a glance for all the actions you're executing as part of your plan, and any corresponding KPIs for this particular goal. You can see the details of those actions as well. So if you click on the Actions tab, you can see each of the actions that's represented there, as well as in the KPI tab, you can see all the KPIs which have been linked to this particular goal that I clicked on. You also have the ability to filter out this strategy map through the filter icon here. So you can, if you want to look at actions and KPIs, let's say only relevant to a particular department or division within your organization, you can use these filter options to see that here as well. So you can, or even by a responsible person. So if you want to see everything that's relevant to one particular individual, you can filter by the responsible person from there. In terms of hierarchies, this is sort of built for the planning hierarchy at the moment. And so at launch, it could be for that planning hierarchy. But a few weeks after the initial launch, we hope to expand this out into other hierarchies, such as your organization structure and to your custom hierarchies as well. You'll be able to get this sort of performance view across all your governance structures as required. So after the strategy maps, we also have the navigation pad on the left-hand navigation menu. So that gives access to, again, your strategic plan shown in this Kanban board style view. So this is a slight update to the existing navigation pad within interplan. We have, you can see, added the performance indicator strips for each of the items, so that you get that's always front of mind, and you can see how those items are progressing. Apart from that, the functionality-wise of this page remains the same. If you want to see more detailed performance, the strategy map would be the place to refer it to. So that's it on the navigation pad. I'll throw it back to Lachlan to walk us through the next few features.
Thanks very much, Chat. And guys, I can tell you after this, then we have one more section and we're at the end. So thank you for sticking with us. So the next couple of features I want to take you through is the reassigned staff responsibilities page, as well as the new report enhancements that we have. So the reassigned staff responsibilities page, we think is going to be a really important feature for all those sort of managers out there, because we appreciate that, you know, in today's modern workforce, that, you know, new roles and responsibilities are constant, things are shifting. And so, you know, you need a way to be able to manage that, you know, comprehensively and quickly, basically. So the new reassigned staff responsibilities page in cammsstrategy you know, allows you to, you know, reallocate duties to different people in one place, and you can easily search for and reassign responsibilities to individuals in bulk or one by one. So we think this is going to really enhance the usability of the product. The second enhancement here is really around the new set of reports. So there's a whole suite of those. So that includes basically new reports out of the box, and also enhancements to existing ones as well. And so, you know, we know that following through in the strategic plans, goals and objectives is imperative, but, you know, to do that, you know, you need insightful reports to keep you and your team focused. And we hope that there's some really enhanced value that we're providing in this release through those new reports. And so that's enough out of me. I'm going to throw you back to Chat so you can see some of these.
Thanks, Lachlan. So I'll walk you through the reports in this particular area. Before I jump into that, I'll just add a note on the reassigned staff responsibilities page, which will be available when cammsstrategy launches, goes live in a few weeks. So this page will be available within the main navigation menu, within the administration section. And as Lachlan mentioned, it will allow you to reassign staff responsibilities in bulk. At launch, it will cover the responsibilities within cammsstrategy. Again, a few weeks after the launch, we are hoping to expand that into all the other product suites. So those responsibilities from project, risk, and other solutions, Cam solutions, will show up there as well. So this area will be expanded very shortly as well. So jumping onto the report section, which is the last area in this left-hand navigation menu. So you can see this will give you access to the standard report navigation area. All your existing reports will appear here. So the standard reports plus any custom reports that you may have will remain. They will continue to function as they have, but we will be doing some updates to some of the standard reports, and I'll show you a few of them today as well. So in terms of the standard reports, we'll be updating the standard scorecard report into a new format as well. So I'll just generate one of the scorecards that I have here to show you how that new scorecard report looks. Overall, in terms of reports, we have tried to do an overall redesign in how it looks and the information is conveyed. So let's load this particular report up, and I can show you how it looks. So this is the standard core page going forward for new cammsstrategy reports. So this will be applied to the reports we are revamping during this release, and will be the default core page we use for any standard reports going forward as well. Thereafter, you can see in this particular scorecard report that I have 2 sub-scorecards, and I can see my KPIs assigned to this particular scorecard, as well as period-wise performance and YTD performance. So the period performance would indicate the last completed period. I believe in this case, these are most quarterly KPIs, so it would indicate the performance for the last quarter, as well as the next column shows the YTD performance, which is the performance from the beginning of the financial year till now. And overall performance is listed at the bottom there as well, so you can see that overall sort of view. So this is the standard UI that will be carried across all of the reports. I'll walk you through a few of the other reports that we have as well. The action, performance, and time frame report is a new report that we are rolling out with this release. It will allow you to have a view of all your actions grouped by your planning structure, and it will have this sort of 2 lines per action sort of view, where you can see all the key details, as well as a visual representation of the timeline for that particular action. So you can see in gray the duration of the action, in green how much the percentage it has been completed, and sort of you can see the dotted line to indicate, as of when I have generated this report, the current date. So that's sort of visual representation for your plan. So this will be available as a standard report when cammsstrategy is launched. Couple of other reports. KPI report, again, one of the standard reports, is being revamped. So a couple of changes happening to that report is we're introducing an overview section to that area, so you can have a snapshot of how many KPIs and their performance as of now for what's in that particular report. And thereafter, you can see the details for each of those KPIs. So you can see all of the fields. You can have a chart of how that KPI has been performing over time. And thereafter, see the period-wise performance for that particular KPI. Again, a few changes is that we have brought in the benchmark and forecast columns into this standard report. So these are optional columns within your KPI area. So if you have them activated, it will now appear in this report as well. And the other change is if you have sub KPIs, so if you're using a calculated KPI, those sub KPIs similar to what you saw in the EIS, they will be shown here as well. So you'll be able to see sub KPIs for each, for those calculated KPIs appearing within the report. And quickly, I'll touch upon this action and task progress report as well. So again, one of the main standard reports in interplan that's being updated in strategy. Again, you'll be able to see this quite a detailed view of all of your actions, its progress, and any tasks that you have against it as well. So yeah, likewise, a couple of reports being updated. We'll have all these details in the release notes that we share after this webinar as well. All right, back to you, Lachlan, to the final section of the demo.
Thanks, Chad. So yeah, this is the last section we're going to run through for the product walkthrough today before we go through some key dates. It might be the last, but it's certainly not the least of our updates. So cammsstrategy is rolling out native apps for Android and iOS devices to help keep you in the know anywhere, anytime. So you're going to be able to easily record your progress through the quick update area and assess performance with dashboards tailored to your needs. So you're going to be able to easily understand the detail behind high-level numbers and deliver the right outcomes on time with my actions, my tasks, and my KPI functions all accessed through this mobile application. And the color-coded performance statuses let you see whether you're on track to meet your targets and predefine benchmarks wherever you are. So, Chad, let's have a look at the mobile app.
Thanks, Lachlan. So if you go into the mobile app, I'll quickly just run through a few of the areas. So the mobile app will cover 2 main areas. First is quick updates, because to help you do your updates on the go, as well as cover a few critical dashboards. So you can see here, this would be the landing page within the app. And if you tap on the My Actions area, that will load up all the actions that you are responsible for. So you can quite easily, again, use the scroll bar here to change the progress percentage, do your updates, or even change the dates if required. And you can click on this detail view to load up the details of that particular action and enter the detailed progress comments as well. So that sort of view will be available for all of the quick update items, so my actions, my tasks, and for my KPIs. In terms of tasks, it will be grouped by the action, but you'll still be able to see each of those items, be able to update your progress, and so on. You'll also be able to access the quick dashboard. So similar to the EIS, this will essentially show you a snapshot of action and KPI performance, and you'll be able to swipe right essentially to see some additional dashboards. So you have a dashboard on KPI performance and action status as well. And you can click on view details to see more details on what's represented by that chart. And you'll be able to access your support and settings as well. The settings area will enable you to switch between your test and live environments. So when you're logging in for the first time, you just need to select which region you're based in. And based on that, the URLs will automatically configure itself. And you can log in by entering your username and password. So that's a quick snapshot of the cammsstrategy mobile app. Back to you, Lachlan, to walk us through the key dates.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, chat, and thank you everyone for sticking with us through that. So I just want to take a couple of minutes now before we sort of get into some questions, just to take you through some of the key dates and some of the important information. Hopefully many of you have seen a lot of this communicated already, but as I said, it is important. We appreciate the significance of this release for us and for you. So just want to walk you through this quickly. So as we've said, CAM's hosted clients, be that interplan clients, obviously cycle clients who are using the strategic planning area, or the global collaboration clients, and anyone who's CAM's hosted will automatically be upgraded to cammsstrategy. Now, if you're a self-hosted client, you can upgrade in the new year, and to do that, we suggest you reach out to support@cammsgroup.com. I guess one of the important things to know if you're self-hosted is that you can continue using your applications as they are. You will be fully supported. So that's the important news there. For prospective clients on the call, and if you're keen to get your hands on cammsstrategy and you haven't already, please reach out to cammsstrategy@cammsgroup.com. The beta program has been fantastic. So for all of you on the call that have been part of that, we thank you very much for your feedback and your time on that. It is now effectively closed. We're not updating those beta environments anymore. So if you want to keep exploring the solution, and we encourage you to, the time to do that is in your test environment now. So all your test environments are now live. And so if you're not sure about logins or anything like that, again, cammsstrategy@cammsgroup.com is the place to go. And when we send out the downtime notification for that, we had some links to some information, some of which were quick cards, so basically providing you with some overviews of the key features and functions and kind of how to best utilize them to get the most out of the product. So you should have that information with you already. After this webinar, we're also going to give you the presentation slides that you've seen here today, a recording of this session, as well as the cammsstrategy release notes, which will go through all the major feature functions in some detail, including a bit of a table at the back that's going to go through basically all the changes and modifications, so you can be across everything that has occurred with this major product release from Interplan to cammsstrategy. In terms of production environment go live dates, and again, these are for CAM's hosted clients. If you're in this sort of APAC region and in Australia and New Zealand, it will be live Monday the 4th of December, which means to get that up there will be some downtime from your Friday night the 1st to your Sunday evening the 3rd of December. We're also going to be releasing cammsstrategy.com in mid-December, which is going to complement the other solution-specific websites we have now for CAMS Risk and CAMS Project. And in terms of training, we are going to have a tips and tricks webinar on cammsstrategy again in mid-December, before we all sort of think about heading off for the Christmas break. But like our series of tips and tricks webinars, that will be pretty concise, around your 30 or so minutes. So for in-depth product training for users and administrators, we suggest that you contact your customer success manager, or again reach out to us at cammsstrategy@cammsgroup.com. At this point, I'm just going to hand over to Chat, who's going to talk to you about some recommended browsers and then walk you very quickly through some of the major release schedules for this financial year with our product roadmap.
All right, thanks, Lachlan. So yeah, a quick note on the recommended browsers going forward. So start from the cammsstrategy release, we will be compatible with Internet Explorer 11, Google Chrome, and Microsoft Edge, and those will be the three main recommended browsers to be used. Any older versions of Internet Explorer will not be supported after this upgrade, and it should be at end of life from Microsoft as well, so that's why we are only supported from Internet Explorer 11 onwards. And from these browsers as well, we would recommend using Chrome or Edge simply because it renders some of the newer technologies quite fast and quite well, more than i11, which is sort of reaching its end of life as well. So that's a quick note on the browsers. And I'll give you a quick walkthrough on the product as well, the product roadmap. So we'll share a copy of this after the webinar as well, so I won't spend too much time on this, just to leave some time for the question and answers. But essentially it gives you some overall idea of our product timelines for 17-18 financial year. So after November, towards next year, we'll be having a couple of product launches around ReviewMap, our service review software, a couple of modules for CAMS Risk, and CAMS Talent to launch later next year, which is a major upgrade to CAMS test solution for performance evaluation.
Thank you so much for your time. We will be sending out a recording with the presentation slides as well and the release notes. We hope this was really useful. Again, further questions, please reach out to us, cammsstrategy@cammsgroup.com. But other than that, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks everyone. Bye.